Lance Stroll has found pace to go 8th fastest. Perez still in the bottom 5. No, and that's it for Antonio Giovinazzi as across the grass he goes and into the Armco he goes. Has he kept the engine going though? He has, and he can rejoin the track.
Well, that's good news for everybody else. Probably not for him as it happens.
No yellow flags being waved as Gasly goes 9th fastest. Kvyat, his teammate, now goes 9th fastest. We're looking for Raikkonen and Perez and Latifi to see if they can improve. Giovinazzi has damage to his car. Grosjean isn't coming out. Latifi, personal best in the first sector, didn't put in a personal best in the middle sector. Can still do this, but there's a double yellow in the sector that he's coming to now, and that spells bad news for Nicholas Latifi, who, as you can hear, is having to back off just a little bit as well. And he crosses the line, does the young Canadian. They've red flagged the session. He'd crossed the line anyway, he stays in 18th place, but they've red flagged. That means Sergio Perez and Kimi Raikkonen are both knocked out in Q1. Raikkonen for the second week running. That's why they have stopped the session, because the Alfa Romeo is parked in a dangerous position around the outside of turn 4. But for Sergio Perez and Racing Point, they struggled all the way through that session, but that's huge disappointment for a car that they thought was third best.
There he goes, picks up the throttle too hard on the curb, steers into the slide, front axle bites, and you're suddenly heading off to the left instead, and that then there was debris on the track, but eventually it was the entire car, or what was left of it, on the track.
I think it's raining heavy now.
Yep, rain has increased.
And that is not good news at all for Charles Leclerc. There's not many drivers out there at the moment setting personal bests or best overall sector times, and that's bad news for Magnussen, Kvyat, Stroll, Russell and Leclerc in the bottom 5. Well, he improved on his time, but he still stays slowest of all. He is out of Q2. Danny Kvyat, who's got one Q3 appearance in the last, 16 races, it was Mexico City, is in the bottom 5 at the moment. Lance Stroll is for Racing Point, George Russell is for Williams, and Charles Leclerc still for Ferrari.
Yeah, you can hear the Ferrari halfway down the straight, still breaking traction.
Lance Stroll set 2 personal bests on this lap. He should be appearing from the gloom towards the final couple of corners very soon. There it is.
Could he kick the other Ferrari out?
Well, Sebastian Vettel and Ferrari all living dangerously. Stroll's living dangerously on the curbs as well. Did that cost him too much time? Stroll comes up to the line now. Has he made the top 10? No! Did that mistake cost Lance Stroll, I wonder? I have a chance of getting into the top 10 as Gasly goes 5th fastest. Splendid lap from the young Frenchman. Charles Leclerc now, the man from Monaco, has got 2 more corners to try and wrestle that Ferrari up into the top 10. Otherwise, it's yet more doom and gloom for the Scuderia. Towards the line we run with Charles Leclerc now. He's out of qualifying. Sebastian Vettel through by 0.08 of a second at the expense of the man who was on pole at the Red Bull Ring in the Austrian Grand Prix last year.
And look at George Russell in P12 for Williams.
Russell has been absolutely mighty in this session. He really is, and only, Martin, what, 8 milliseconds, 8 thousandths of a second, if my maths is correct there, off Charles Leclerc. Carlos Sainz is going from McLaren to Ferrari next year, probably happy he's at McLaren, not Ferrari this year, looking at the pace of the 2 cars. Goes 4th fastest for McLaren.
Verstappen's done a PB middle sector, personal best, so he needs to hook one up. Otherwise, Verstappen, a man who we thought had a great chance of pole, is now down to 6th place. Look at Gasly in 3rd.
Sainz is now where he started last week as Verstappen goes on to pole position with a 120.4, and Lewis Hamilton is half a second up through the first 2 sectors. He is finding grip, Verstappen's finding grip, Bottas is finding grip. Gasly is having a stormer of a session here, Pierre Gasly, who has a best start of 5th place to keep in the back of your mind in Formula 1. He's done it on 3 previous occasions. And don't forget, Alex Albon has now qualified his teammate head-to-head in Q3 yet, as Hamilton goes onto pole by nearly 7/10 of a second. Wow. There's a yellow towards the end of the lap, but that quickly gets cleared, so nothing too serious. The two Mercedes are on a final flying lap as well. Verstappen had plenty in hand through the first sector. Hamilton's gone even quicker through the first sector. Sainz goes up to third. On the grid at the moment, there's a car pitting Sebastian Vettel, and Verstappen's lost it at the final corner. So pole position and the chance of it goes away from Max Verstappen right at the final corner. So can Lewis Hamilton extend his advantage out in front? Can Valtteri Bottas go any quicker? He's had a bad first sector as the man on pole this time last week. He's 4 tenths down on his teammate on this particular lap.
Yeah, we saw Verstappen there moderating the brake pedal like he did in Brazil, where he somehow saved the car from crashing and just kept it where he needed to, out of harm's way, but lap over.
Lewis Hamilton then coming towards the end of his last lap, and look how treacherous the conditions are. That's Valtteri Bottas ahead of him, only 4th fastest. Hamilton is on pole. Can he go any faster? He's had 2 poles at the Red Bull Ring before. Make that 3 now. 2020 Styrian Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton on pole position.
What a lap. I mean, champion's drive. Class of the field there, just kept pumping them in, knew where the extra grip was, and on pole by 1.2 seconds.
That is a way to show that there is still a lot to come from the 6-time world champion in 2020. Disappointing, of course, for him last week in the race and in qualifying, where he played second fiddle to his teammate. It's his first pole in Austria since 2016, which is also the last time Lewis Hamilton won at the Red Bull Ring as well. Lining up alongside him on the grid. What a start this is going to be tomorrow.